Greetings everyone, welcome back to the Too Fast Tactical channel. In today's video we're going to be doing another unboxing and review of a Glock 19 slide. If you followed my Polymer 80 build in the past, you've noticed that I haven't had any recent updates to that. The main outlier was the fact I didn't have a slide, and my philosophy for building anything, I build mostly rifles, but you know, when I build a rifle, the cost of that build is going to be less than say buying a completed rifle. That's my philosophy. So with building a Glock, a copy of a Glock, the Polymer 80, you find a lot of really expensive slides. I just can't imagine why anyone would spend $500 or $600, $700 on a slide. You're really not getting anything for your money. I mean, you're buying a name or maybe some fancy, colorful finish, but you know, if you're looking to replicate the mil-spec OEM quality of a Glock slide, you can do that for a lot less. That's just my philosophy on it. So none of my distributors actually had any slides that were reasonably priced. I ended up resorting to going to eBay. And watching eBay, I came across a company, I believe it's pronounced Wuelf. It's spelled W-U-E-L-F with some sort of emphasis, I believe, over the E. Might be German version of Wolf. They're not German though. They're in Florida. And this company makes Glock 19 slides out of a billet 416R stainless steel. And they're not, you know, they're not importing slides from out of the country and then hitting them with their laser cutter and then selling them as their own built product. This is a company that actually machines U.S. made steel in U.S. in Florida. I believe they're in where are they? They're somewhere in Florida. No, I guess I could look at the label. Naples, Florida. Anyway, so I found this one on eBay. This ended up costing me $160, which I thought was extremely reasonable because I wanted a slide that had the RMR cutout on it. So we'll talk more about the slide here in just a second. So wanted to get a little bit of groundwork laid before I open up the box here and why I bought this one. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of information about Wuelf, if that's how it's pronounced. I did some digging, couldn't find much. So whether or not this works out, I don't know, but what I've seen so far, it looks good. I'm not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, so got this off of eBay. This is basically how it ships in this little box. And we've got some foam, and we've got a couple of extra RMR screws. These are long ones. Short ones are actually installed on the slide now. Now, this isn't going to have a lot of fancy jagged cuts and things that might snag as you pull it out of a holster. So what are we looking at here? This particular version is the, let's see if I can pronounce this word correctly, chamfered edge, where this edge is chamfered or chamfered. I can never pronounce those words. Some words just don't roll off my tongue very well. So instead of it going straight up and over, it's got a bevel to it. So we've got that. We've got the RMR cut. Now, one of the nice things about these slides is they ship with an RMR cover. Now, if you've considered a Brownell slide, which the Brownells are good from what I've understand. I haven't used one, but I've held a few of them in my hands. The quality is good. They don't come with the covers. You're going to spend another $25 to get an RMR cover, which isn't a big deal. If you already have an RMR, or if you're like me and you're going to run a Holosun 507C, you've already got it. You're going to put it on right away. You don't need a cover. I actually don't have a sight for this yet, so whether or not, well, I can tell you I'm not going to run an RMR sight. Those are ridiculously priced for what they are. If I put a sight on this, a red dot sight, it will be the Holosun 507C, unless some other company comes out with one that will actually fit in the RMR cut. So the Holosun 507C is one of the few that will. And that's only a few $100s. Well, it's more than a couple $100s, but that's much more reasonable for a red dot sight, in my opinion. And I've had good luck with other Holosun sights in the past. For an overseas made sight, they're of really good quality. So anyway, back to the slide here. So we've got the chamfered edge. We've got the RMR cut with the cover, and unlike some other manufacturers, this RMR cover actually matches the finish on this, so it basically blends in. I've seen some where the covers are really dark black and this is kind of a flat black. I don't like that either. This one also has front and rear serrations on it, so other than that, there's no other markings, there's no other engravings of any sort. So from what I've seen from looking at this, I don't see any machining marks. There's no rough edges. The finish is consistent on the inside and the outside. It looks very similar to me to a factory Glock 19 slide, fit and finish wise. Now, I'm definitely not an expert with the tolerances, and I know that in some situations some of these slides will require additional fitting to your Polymer 80 lower, and that normally wouldn't really be an issue. So if you take this Polymer 80 lower that we're looking at here, you know, you've got this area right here and you have this area right here that could create fitment issues with your slides. So instead of modifying a slide, I would go in here with some very fine sandpaper or very fine jeweler's file, and I might remove some material to make the slide move a little bit more fluidly, if necessary. Let's see. I have a barrel. This actually is a Grey Ghost Precision. I believe this is a discontinued model. This was I think it was advertised as one of their match grade models. I don't have the exact specs on it. I got this barrel and this Polymer 80 on a trade. Because if I was to buy a barrel, I would get a threaded one, so I could run a suppressor on it. But since I got this with the trade and this is a budget build, I'm just going to go ahead and run this. So the obviously the Grey Ghost Precision barrel fits just fine. Colors, it's a flat finish. It's a little bit darker, but no issues with that. I have already test fit this to my Polymer 80 slide. Let's take the magazine out. And basically that's what it looks like. So you know, this slides back and forth fairly easy, so I don't think I'm going to need to do any type of filing or sanding on the Polymer 80 components, but we'll have to see. You know, this is a completely stripped slide. I've got to build it out. That will come in another video where I will do the build out of this slide that is acceptable to the terms of use of YouTube. From what I understand, the only thing we can't show anymore is the build out of lower receivers. They didn't say anything about upper receivers or slides. This isn't a receiver, it's a slide. So anyway, this is what the Wuelf slide looks like on this Glock Polymer 80. Now, do keep in mind, these colors are not going to match 100%. At least if you can see that on camera, it doesn't match to my eye. And that's because, if you didn't watch my previous videos, this Polymer 80 lower receiver was actually Robin's Egg Blue. And I went in with some RIT dye and dyed it black. And although it looks black, if you really look at it closely, it's black with kind of a slight hint of blue. So it doesn't completely match the slide. And that's kind of to be expected whenever you take something like blue and you try to dye it black. If you want black, you got to kind of start with black, or you've got to start with white and then dye it black. Whenever you're starting with another color like blue, and you're trying to change the color, it doesn't always end up being 100% black. To most people, they look at this and say it's black, but if you set this alongside of another black, an original black Polymer 80 lower receiver, you'd say, hey, this color looks a little bit different. I'm not complaining at all. I like the way it looks. I like the way this fits. I'm very happy with the price so far here with this slide, and we'll be installing the Lone Wolf Distributors slide completion kit in a follow-up video. And let's see if there's anything else I want to add. I haven't actually got sights for this yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to go with suppressor height sights or standard height sights. I might just err on the side of caution and get suppressor height sights. That way in the future, if I change the barrel and decide to run this suppressed, I don't have to muck around with the sights again. So anyway, that's going to conclude this tabletop review and unboxing of the Wuelf Glock 19 slide. Like mentioned, this is whenever you buy one of these these slides, they're stripped. So there's not going to be any parts in them at all, and that includes the liner. So if you buy one of these and you're going to do a build out, not only are you going to have to get the parts kit, you're going to have to get some specialized tool. Like you'll need a specialized tool to install the liner, and you'll need a specialized tool for the front sight and a specialized sight pusher for the rear. So you're looking at some investment in tooling to build one of these out properly. Now, Wuelf also offers their slides in flat dark earth, that's a Cerakote, OD green, that's a Cerakote, and tungsten, which is a Cerakote. And I guess they can do other colors if you wanted to do something custom. Supposedly on this, the ejection port is lowered a bit. I don't have a stock slide to compare that to. I mean, this looks normal to me, but it might be lowered just a little bit. According to Wuelf, the interior dimensions are held to tighter than OEM spec tolerances. They guarantee that this will work with all OEM and all high quality aftermarket parts and accessories. If you were to use this on a Glock Gen 4 frame, it would require additional adapter not included. So those are all my notes right there. So if you want to check these guys out, their webpage, they do have a webpage, it's on the box. It's www.wuelf.com. I'll put that link in the description if you want to go check out their website. I found that the deals were better on eBay, so maybe these are just model slides that aren't selling very well, and he's popped them up on eBay to move them out. I do believe the price on this, I just checked it today, I paid $160. I think the price is $157 and change now, which is pretty good for this style slide. If this is something of interest to you without, you know, ports to look at your barrel and things like that, if you want just this standard style slide. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this tabletop review of the Wuelf Glock 19 slide.